What we have here is a 59 Corvette that is undergoing a complete front end and steering rebuild. So this is what's called a C1 Corvette, 53 to 62, had the same chassis and suspension. It was antiquated when it was new in 1953. It was adopted from a 1946 passenger car chassis that was narrowed and shortened. And it extended for another 10, 11 years. So with that said, I'd like to show you, actually have Dick here show you what wears out on these and what we replace. So come on over. This is the steering rod. And years ago, this worm gear, you could only get what was available in terms of new old stock. And once that supply was diminished, you had to go with a better used one. Several years ago, somebody started reproducing this, and it's a beautifully reproduced item. And Dick can explain a little bit more in detail what exactly went wrong here and the other parts of the suspension that have worn. Take it away, Dick.
Well, the problem with these cars was the way the steering box was mounted in the car. It was very hard to access the adjustment on it, and over the years, as the parts would wear out, the steering would start to get crunchy, and nobody ever bothered to do it. They would change the kingpins, which we can show you over here. The spindle mounts here with the kingpin, just like the old passenger cars from back in the day. And the bushings, there's two bushings, and they will wear out, and then the wheel starts to wobble. And then you come into the tie rod ends here, and the tie rod ends get loose, and then that'll make the tires wear real bad. And this particular design has this called the third arm. It goes up, and then this arm connects to the steering box. And the steering box bolts here between the engine and the frame, which makes it hard to get to. But the killer is the inner fender is right out here on the up against the outside where the adjusting screw is. So you couldn't get to the screw, nobody bothered to adjust them. And the end result was things would wear. This steering shaft that came out is extremely worn to the point of being rounded down, and it puts groove in here. When you turn the steering wheel, this goes back and forth, and it rides on here. This has already been cleaned, and the new bearing and the roller. When you turn this, it turns this shaft back and forth, and where'd I put the third arm? This arm hooks to the end of this, and as this turns back and forth, that is what makes the wheel, the linkage go. And on the end of this, these were adjustable. They had a ball, two-piece ball, and you can see the gouges in this. And they did have replacement pieces that you could put in, but now I have to file and dress. I'll have to remachine this to make it smooth, because when they get like that, as you turn, it jerks and gets crunchy. When we get all done with this, hopefully it'll steer as nice as a rack and pinion.
So this is the C1 front suspension, as we say, slightly better than a garden tractor. But we can make it perform like it should. And more importantly than anything else, we'll make it safe again. Thanks, Dick.